Hi, my name's Rebecca Steer, and I play Madeline Kennedy in this film.
How did you come to get involved in Mockingbird?
I got involved with Mockingbird. A couple summers ago, I took an acting class at Victory Gardens with Melissa Milan, who plays my sister in the film. I didn't know anything about the production company at the time, but she actually hunted me down on Facebook after they came up with a story for this. And I guess she thought that I would be a good fit for this role, and she hunted me down and was like, Rebecca, would you want to be involved with this movie that we're shooting in Chicago? And I was like, yes. So she put me in touch with Rick and everyone, and we talked and met and decided that would be a good fit for everyone. So.
What attracted you to the role of Madeline Kennedy?
Well, when we were first discussing it, the script wasn't in its final format, but there was enough of the elements for me to really get a sense of who this character was. And I immediately found her very compelling because I felt like she wasn't one-sided at all. I felt like there were a lot of sympathetic parts to this character, even though she does do some questionable things throughout the film. I think you really get a sense of why she feels the way she does. I think we can all sort of see where she's coming from, even if we're simultaneously horrified by some of the things that happen. And I think that's an important thing to do, to find the good and the bad in every character you play. And that's a great challenge as an actor.
Did you find any part of this character particularly challenging, and if so, what?
A lot of things about this character were challenging. I mean, she has a lot of pain. She has dealt with a situation that most of us will never have to deal with in our lives. So getting to a place where you could understand how long she's felt this way and the extent to her struggle that would lead her to make the decision she makes, to be able to get there and get there quickly while doing a very short scene was definitely challenging, but it was very exciting at the same time to do it.
Did you find it difficult to get your mind in the sort of dark place it needed to be to film a couple of scenes for the film? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think sometimes, it can take a couple minutes sometimes, but I think, especially once we got going, it was sort of a place where I could almost drop in and out of it, where I could sort of just click in and click out to where she was, because you don't have that luxury necessarily with filming, that you have to, know how to get in that character's mind immediately. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be a little tricky, especially for the particularly intense moments, but I think that I had done enough reading and thinking about her ahead of time that by the time we got to filming, it was I just had to get myself back in there, and it could happen pretty quickly if I needed it to.
In the movie, we see your intestines being removed from your body. Can you please walk us through how that was filmed, and how did it feel to be eviscerated out here?
I had no idea what to expect going into that. I really didn't. I've sort of had it explained to me in very vague terms. When it actually got there, it was very cold and very wet. I was not anticipating that exactly. Well, we had to take several sheets of liquid latex that our makeup designer designed, and I had the intestines and all the miscellaneous innards placed on my stomach in a big heap, and the latex sheet was placed over that, over which the dress was placed, so that when we actually cut the dress and it looked like it was cutting my stomach, it was really cutting the liquid latex that sort of simulates the layer of skin, and that could be pulled apart to reveal the intestines underneath. And if you shoot that from above, you don't really see the width discrepancy of my stomach looking like it's 7 feet tall. So and then they could get in there and just start pulling it out, and it was a really weird feeling because I was unable to move for the film, and after laying on the floor all day unable to move, you start to feel how terrible that must be to not, have people moving all around you doing horrible things too, and you're just watching. So it was strange. It's something I'll probably hopefully never experience again. So.
During the filming of The Mockingbird, you guys filmed a short film entitled How Deep is the Rabbit Hole?
We did.
Can you describe your experience on that short?
That short was an experience of its own. It was sort of an idea that came out of nowhere based on the amazing location we had. It was really a lot of great props in that location that were not to be wasted. So,
What was the location?
we were at the Studio Chicago, an amazing S&M dungeon that we stumbled upon that had several different scenes. There's like a doctor's office section and a schoolhouse section and all sorts of crazy contraptions and tools and implements that you could ever imagine. And we just had this ridiculous time filming. Well, you'll see it, but it's a trip. It's kind of funny and kind of terrifying and disturbing all at the same time. And it was controlled chaos for sure. We knew what we had to do and we had to get it done quickly, but it was pretty hysterical. So.
And the leap from Madeline Kennedy to the lead character of Malice and Down the Rabbit Hole, or How Deep is the Rabbit Hole? Did you prefer the latter character to the former?
I mean, they're both fun. I like playing both ends of that spectrum. I mean, Malice is pretty awesome only because she kind of gets to be a badass in that film. And she ends up in control and at the head of things, and that's obviously a great place to be. It's a much shorter film, so we didn't have time to delve into that as much as we did with The Mockingbird, but both were really great, and I'm glad to play those back to back so I get to stretch my acting muscles in every direction. So
last question, how would you rate your first Herbivore production experience?
I've had an amazing time with Herbivore Productions. This is the first real indie film I've ever done. And I really didn't have a ton of expectations going into it, but I found that everyone, even though you don't have the backing of, some great big budget company, everyone knows their job and everyone knows what needs to get done and they take it seriously, and everyone was incredibly talented and did their part, and it all came together very nicely. I think we all worked together really well, and we all had a similar idea of where this was leading. And if you all sort of have the same goal in mind, it makes for a great collaboration. So I've had a blast, and I hope that we can do more in the future.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time. And on behalf of the director and the entire cast and crew of The Mockingbird, we wish you a speedy recovery.
Thanks very much.